Hi, this is Sherman Crancer from Microsoft. I'm the Senior Business Channel Development Manager for the Western United States, and I head up Microsoft Community Connections initiative. So today, we're going to talk about seminar selling. Why seminar selling is the way to go, and why you need to ditch your traditional selling tactics. As a previous VP of sales for many large organizations, I did a lot of soul searching as to how do we figure out a way to get away from telemarketing or knocking on doors or wasting time at networking events that really never really brought you anything. And so I figured, well, let's see, how do we do that? And I thought, oh, webinars or seminars. However, webinars and seminars can be difficult to produce, as well as very, very difficult to actually fill. I think the psychology within the public is that webinars and seminars are items for self-promotion. So what I did is I needed to figure out a way to increase my leads without actually spending a whole lot of time, wasting my time bringing people to the seminars. So what I did is when I got involved with Microsoft Community Connections, I was spending a lot of money on a lot of different types of marketing campaigns. And I was having a lot of trouble with that because I really wasn't bringing in a lot of leads. Paying for a telemarketer was really expensive. Paying for Google Ads was very expensive. Paying for print advertising was very expensive. I was very close to actually doing a radio ad as well as a television commercial, and those were all very expensive. And I was also wasting a lot of time out there at networking events, networking with people that really didn't have a care about me or a care about how or what I could bring to the table to help them. So I, as I mentioned earlier, I decided to get into seminar selling, and then when I got involved with Microsoft Community Connection, it was the absolute perfect fit. And why was that? Because it gave me the ability to bring in 30 to 40 new leads per event that I normally wouldn't have gotten. I changed up the way that I positioned seminar selling, as opposed to many of the companies out there currently that are out there doing webinars and seminars. They make them very commercialized. I thought that a better way was to become a subject matter expert in the eyes of the community and provide seminars and webinars on an educational format where I would announce my name and what I did in the very beginning, go through 45 to 50 minutes of content, and then say who I was at the end. And by the way, hey, if you can if you have any questions or answers regarding the seminar, please give me a call and I'd be happy to help you out. I figured that was a better way than trying to commercialize it by talking about my company every other slide. I think a lot of people get frustrated with that, and they don't want to really do that. They don't want to go be a part of those types of presentations. They want to learn, and I wanted to do that. So after I changed it up, it took a little while because you have to understand the psychology as well as the metrics behind sales. Okay, and I think the best way to describe it is, let's say you did 12 different seminars throughout the year. And so in month one, let's say it's due for a round number, you have 100 people that attend. So the actual sales metrics out there are that 3% of those people that come to your seminar or webinar are actually very interested in doing business today because they have an issue, a problem, a need. They're in dire straits. From 4 to 20 are people that are in a very similar boat. However, they really don't know who you are, trust you, or understand what you're doing. So they need a little bit more time, so they're going to stick with their current person, even though they may not like them. And then the next metric is from 20 to 100 are people that are stuck into a contract, right? They're happy with where they're at, and nothing's wrong. Everything's just fine in January. But every month it switches because some people come off of contract. Some people have a situation that's so untenable with their current provider that they basically want to change. So if you put together seminar selling and actually put together a series of events where you're in front of those people, once a month, the chances that they're going to call you when they have a problem increase substantially. I think you'll also agree that if you were to do a one-time event, right, in January, let's say you had 300-400 people, do you think anybody would remember who you were 6 months later? I don't think so. So within the Microsoft Community Connections program, they provide software, as a giveaway. And so what I did, when I was putting on these seminars, is I would basically publicize the fact that we're going to go ahead and give away software for every event. Because I had to figure out a way to monetize, these types of events. I had to figure out a way to make sure I got a lot of leads, out of these events. And originally we had a paper survey, fill it out. However, it's very difficult to take all that information and type it in. And a lot of times you have a stack of surveys from people that you're supposed to follow up with, which didn't really work out. So what we did is put together a series of surveys. So at the end of every survey, and we would help the association bring people in by saying and publicizing that we're giving away software. We would tell the audience that in order to be entered into the drawing, they would have to fill out the survey. And we did an Excel survey, which you're going to learn a lot more about later on in this certification process. But it basically grabbed all of their information and basically had them do the inputting, and then we would raffle off the software to the people who actually filled out the survey. So what did I do with all that information? You probably are kind of wondering, well, now he's got all this information, how is he really monetizing these seminars that he's only doing educational presentations on? Well, so how I did that was I would take all that information and then I would put them into a drip marketing system. But I would use dynamic CRM and click dimensions to automate this process. So I created 12 separate emails that would go out once a month that were just purely educational. And every person who filled out the survey was uploaded into my CRM. And every month they got an email from me regardless. But it wasn't commercialized once again. It was just providing them some great information. Now you ask, why did I do that? Why did I put the work into doing that? Is because on a tactical approach, what you want those people who attended at least your first seminar is to remember who you are, so when they have that issue or that problem, they're like, oh gosh, I just saw his email. And man, he really knew what he was talking about when he was talking about voice over IP or cloud or infrastructure as a service, and I think we need to just have him bring him in. Plus, they psychologically in their head they're thinking, gosh, well, he's sponsored by the association that helped drive attendance for this organization. So that's the real reason that you want to keep the email drip system along with your within your seminars, the attendees who come to your seminars, because it's just so very, very important to keep in front of them.
Selling was, how do we get people there? Okay. In the beginning, when I started, and I was a partner before being the employed here at Microsoft, I spent a long time sending out tons of emails trying to get people there. But then the Microsoft Community Connections initiative rolled around, and I got involved with it, and I realized, oh my gosh, I've got to stop spending so much time trying to get people to my webinars or seminars. So how did I do that? So I leveraged associations. I leveraged using MCC. I leveraged Microsoft's name. And when I called on associations, I would position seminars and a series of seminars, 12 educational seminars, as a member benefit that Microsoft wanted to help produce for that association. The association would look at it as, oh my gosh, my members can get educated on the latest and greatest Microsoft technologies without being sold to. Yes, absolutely, I want to do it. And so that's how I positioned it. And the only thing that I would demand and I would expect from the association, in conjunction with the MCC program, was that they actually send out the invitation that I sent to them. And they needed to send it out twice, and they had to have a minimum of 15 people there for chambers, 25 for associations, that did not include the association executives. That was the only thing that I put on them. And what was very interesting about that is that's a very easy sale, because you're providing an educational resource, to these associations. So now you've really knocked out the main component, which drives people who want to do seminar selling absolutely nuts. And that's the demand gen of the people to come to your organization, to the educational platform. So we took that completely out, and you too can use Microsoft and its brand name to help and leverage associations to taking on, your webinar or seminar series.